welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to do this sheer nude acrylic toe look. This is my first video in a while. I do have a few acrylic toe videos, but this is an updated one as I have definitely improved since then, so I hope you guys enjoy. First thing I'm doing is I am pushing back the cuticles and making sure to scrape off any of the dead skin that is on the nail plate to make sure that the acrylic adheres properly, and so that I can remove them with my cuticle bit and my nail file. And then I'm going in with some nail clippers just to clip some of the length down of her natural toenail, as it was quite long and I do not want it to become a hazard, because sometimes long toenails can be a hazard, and I just want it to be comfortable for her when she wears her trainers. And then I'm going in with my round ball. It's not a round ball, it's like a, I don't even know what to call it, guys. I got this bit from Nail Nails, I'll link it down below. But it's really good for cuticles, like lifting up the cuticle and getting rid of any of the dead skin. Shout out to Jada for putting me on this cuticle bit. It has really changed the game. And then after, I'm just gonna go in with a 180 grit sanding band to remove the shine from the natural nails. This is what I normally do, and this is what you normally do if you're doing a full set on hands anyway, so there's not that much difference. If this will be your first time doing acrylic toenails, literally just follow the same processes that you would normally if you were doing a full set on your client's hands, minus the adding of the tips, because I don't add tips on toes. I've never added tips on toes, and I probably will never add tips on toes because they can be such a hazard. I know some nail techs do that, but it's my preference not to, just because I don't want anyone coming and blaming me for their toenail falling off because they went and hit their toe, stubbed their toe somewhere, and because of the acrylic toenail it fell off. So I don't want no problems. But yeah, it's pretty much a personal preference. Like, if you do prefer tips, by all means go ahead, I'm not knocking it, but I just prefer for it to be an overlay. So what I'm doing next is I'm going in with a dehydrator, which is my Nail Nails dehydrator. And then once that dries, as you can see, I'm fanning it dry because it did take quite long. I'm going in with my primer. I bought this primer from Hollywood Nail Supply. I think it's the non-acid primer, I think. Yeah, I bought it from Hollywood. And I'm just going with that right before I put on my acrylic. I custom mixed this acrylic with some clear powder because she wanted it sheer, like quite a natural sheer nude. So that's why I mixed it with clear, otherwise it would have been too pigmented, but I wanted it to be quite see-through. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm going in with quite a dry bead, not too wet because I don't want it to be runny all over the place. If you're doing acrylic toes, you don't want your beads to be too wet. You want them to be of a good consistency so that you can mold and shape the big toenail, or any of the toenails in fact, because ideally people like to go for the square shape. I've never had a client where she wants me to do acrylic toes rounded for her. Even then, that would be a bit weird for me. Sorry guys, you will see my crusty feet in these videos because I was actually sitting on the floor, so you guys just ignore my feet in the background. But yeah, so and ignore the camera moving bare, guys. I was literally trying to find a good angle for you guys, and at the same time for it to be comfortable for my client. To get this video, guys, was a struggle, but I needed this content for you guys so you guys could see my updated like toe, I don't want to say toe routine, but yeah, toe routine, I guess. But yeah, this is how I do acrylic toes now. This is not usually the normal foot stand that I use. I use one that's much more comfortable for my clients, but because of the purpose of this video, I had to use one of them like footstools. But yeah, anyways, back to it. like I was saying, make sure your beads are not too wet, especially when it gets to the cuticle part. As you can see here, my bead was not too wet. I managed to just place it just before the cuticle and then use the top of my brush to push it and tuck it underneath the cuticle so that it is nice and flush in there, and that so it doesn't run about and, you know, potentially cause lifting. Because if the acrylic tends to run into the small corners of the nail, then, you know, when you come to sealing the cuticles, you may find it difficult and then not seal it properly, which will then result in lifting of the toenail. And you do not want that, because it can cause water to go under there and get trapped, and moisture and everything, and then cause potential greenies. So you do not want that for your client. Yeah, so I'm basically doing that for all the nails. I'm just going in with really small beads. I try to do one bead on the toe. Depending on whether it's too big or too small, I may like take some off or add some on. So that's basically what I'm doing. I'm so sorry you guys can't see what's going on here, but yeah, it was a bit of an odd camera angle, but I hope you guys still get the gist of what's going on. Also guys, I want to say another thing. Try not to make your acrylic toes too thick. Like, I've seen so many cases where the thickness of the acrylic applied to the toenail is just ridiculous. Like, you don't need that much, guys. Honestly, I'm using like the tiniest bead, and then even if I do apply it slightly thick, I will make sure that I will go back after and file down the bulk. Like, you don't want them to be too thick, because the weight of them will not be good, and then if they do stub their toe, it can cause serious bruising. So you don't want that. You just want the health of the natural nail to be at its optimal best. You know, as nail techs, we do need to take into consideration natural nail care, not just focusing on the enhancement, but on the natural nail care, because if the base of the nail is not at its healthiest, it will definitely impact the enhancements as well. So yeah, not to be negative, but you know, we do want to make sure our clients' natural nails are as healthy as possible, and to limit the potential of them damaging them. Obviously, it's not completely up to us. The client does play a big role in that, but if we can do our best to minimize damage, as nail techs, we should. So now back to the video. You guys can just see me using the belly of my brush to pat the acrylic in place, and using the sides to just make up the corners nice and sharp, so that when I do go back in with the file, it is easy to file it straight, nice and crisp. And guys, I don't know if it's me, but I always struggle with the pinky toe, depending on what kind of pinky toe the client has. This one wasn't too bad, but sometimes pinkies can be really small, and then just to get in the crevices of that like fold between the nail and the actual pinky toe sometimes is quite hard. But yeah, so this is my application, guys. You can have a look at it. I feel like it's definitely improved since the first video I had uploaded. So yeah, you guys can go look at that one as well. It's quite embarrassing, I don't go back and look at my old videos, but yeah. Anyways, so I'm just going in with a 8080 grit file. Usually I have a shorter file on deck, but I couldn't find it, so I'm just going in with this one. The kind of file you use is your preference, really. As you can see, I'm not really doing too much filing because I did apply my acrylic as neat as possible. Guys, my foot, I am so sorry, guys, but yeah. And now I'm going in with my fine cone bit. I bought this from Hollywood Nail Supply, and I'm just using that to clean up the cuticles by sealing them as well. That did not make sense. Clean up the cuticles and seal them as well, and then just leveling out the acrylic and smoothening it out. Also, if, like I said, if it is a bit bulky or if it is a bit thick, I will go in and like take that down to make sure that it's nice and not too thick, but nice and flush to the nails, because you don't want the acrylic to be super thick. That is just so unnatural, guys. We're trying to make it look as natural as possible, even though they're not, you know. You don't want it to look just mad, you know. So that's basically what I'm doing. And yeah, once I've done that, I'll just go in with a buffer to buff it nice and smooth. And then once I've done that, I just go in with my scrubber brush thingy and brush away all the fluff. And then after that, I will just go in with a like alcohol spray just to spray it down and give it another good scrub before I apply the top coat. And for the top coat, I'm using the D&D gel top coat. I think it's a DC top coat, I don't know, but it's the gold bottle with like the red and white label. That's like my go-to top coat. It's quite cheap, it's like £8. It's readily available, and I'm just using that to gloss the nails, and then that'll be it. I cure all my gel in the lamp for 60 seconds, and I've got an LED lamp. I don't think mine is UV, or maybe it's both, but I use that and I cure it in the lamp for 90 seconds. I know I don't need to do it for 90 seconds, but I do it for 90 seconds anyways, just to make sure. And then yeah, once I'm done with that, I just apply some cuticle oil on the top and then rub it in nicely so that the cuticles are nice and moisturized and hydrated. And that's pretty much it for the video, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a nice, quick and short one. If you do want a more in-depth tutorial and more like zoom ins and close-ups, do let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please click that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video, guys. Bye.